Marcus Reilly sat at the corner booth of O'Malley's Diner in downtown Seattle, staring out at the rain-slicked streets. It was Thanksgiving evening 2025, and the city was buzzing with holiday cheer, but not for him. At 52, Marcus was the CEO of Reilly Tech, a multi-million-dollar software firm he'd built from scratch. His penthouse overlooked the Puget Sound. His garage housed a fleet of luxury cars, but tonight, like every holiday for the past decade, he was alone. His ex-wife had left years ago, taking their kids, who now barely called friends. They were business associates, not the kind you share turkey with. He poked at his plate of dry turkey and mashed potatoes, the diner's fluorescent lights casting harsh shadows on his face. Another lonely feast, he muttered to himself, sipping his black coffee. Marcus had grown up in a small town in the Midwest, where his folks drilled into him that folks, like us, stick to our own. It stuck with him, that old-school mindset, even after he moved to the liberal West Coast. He didn't think of himself as racist, not outright, but he avoided those neighborhoods, cracked jokes in boardrooms that made his assistants uncomfortable, and voted for policies that kept things traditional. The diner was half empty, a few stragglers nursing their meals. In walked Elena Vasquez, a 38-year-old single mom, with her twin boys, Mateo and Diego, both 10. Elena was a nurse at the local hospital. Originally from Mexico, but she'd become a U.S. citizen years ago. Her dark hair was tied back, her scrubs peeking out under her coat. She'd just finished a double shift. The boys, in matching hoodies, chattered excitedly about the pie she'd promised. Money was tight since her husband passed away in a car accident 2 years back, but she always made holidays special. They slid into a booth across from Marcus, the kids' laughter cutting through the quiet. Mateo spotted a football game on the TV and whooped, "Mom, look! Seahawks are crushing it!" Elena smiled wearily. "Keep it down, mijo. People are eating?" Marcus glanced over, his jaw tightening. "Great, now it's a fiesta in here," he grumbled under his breath. He caught himself. Why'd that bother him? But old habits die hard. He flagged the waitress for the check, ready to bolt back to his empty condo. As Elena ordered, turkey dinners all around. "Hold the extras to save a buck." The boys fidgeted. Diego knocked over his water glass, sending it spilling toward Marcus's booth. "Oh no!" Elena jumped up, grabbing napkins. Marcus sighed, wiping the splash from his shoe. "Watch it, kid," he snapped, louder than he meant. Elena froze, then met his eyes with a steady gaze. "I'm so sorry, sir." "He's just excited. Let me clean that up." The boys looked mortified. Mateo whispered, "Sorry, mister." Something in their wide eyes tugged at Marcus, but he brushed it off. "Yeah, whatever. Just be careful." Elena mopped up the mess, her hands calloused from long hours. As she straightened, she noticed his half-eaten plate. "Rough holiday?" she asked softly, not prying, just kind. Marcus blinked. No one talked to him like that, casual, genuine. "You could say that. Family's scattered." She nodded. "Mine too, in a way. But we make do." She hesitated. Then added, "If you're alone, you're welcome to join us. Plenty of room." He scoffed inwardly. "Join them? A Mexican family?" His dad's voice echoed in his head. "Stick to your own kind." But out loud, he said, "Nah, I'm good. Thanks anyway." Elena shrugged with a warm smile. "Offer stands. Happy Thanksgiving." As they ate, the boys shared stories from school. Mateo aced a science project on volcanoes. Diego drew a comic about superheroes fighting bullies. Elena laughed, her fatigue melting away. Marcus couldn't help eavesdropping. It reminded him of his own kids back when things were simple. Then the diner TV blared a news segment. Protests in the city over a recent police incident involving a Latino man. Commentators debated systemic issues. Marcus rolled his eyes. Always playing the victim card, he thought. But Diego piped up, "Mom, why do people hate us sometimes?" "Like that story at school about the wall." Elena hushed him gently. "Not hate, mijo. Fear, misunderstanding. We rise above it with kindness." Her words hit Marcus like a gut punch. He stared at his cold food, memories flooding back. His childhood friends teasing the one Hispanic kid in class. Him joining in to fit in. Shame crept in uninvited. Outside, the rain picked up. Marcus paid his bill and stood to leave. But as he passed their booth, Mateo looked up. "Hey, mister, want some of our pie?" "Mom makes the best pumpkin." Elena chuckled. "He's right, homemade. Take a slice to go." Marcus paused, the warmth in their eyes cracking his armor. Sure." Why not? She boxed a generous piece. Here, and seriously, if you change your mind. He took it, mumbling thanks, and stepped out into the storm. Back in his car, he sat there, pie in hand, wondering why that simple act felt so big. The next day, Black Friday chaos hit the malls, but Marcus skipped the sales. Instead, he drove to the hospital where Elena worked. He'd overheard her mention it. Not sure why, he bought coffee and donuts, telling himself it was just repayment for the pie. At the nurse's station, he asked for her. Elena appeared surprised. You, what brings you here? Thanks for the pie. Brought these. He handed over the treats. She beamed. That's sweet. The team will love it. They chatted briefly, her shifts, his company. He learned about her struggles. Immigration paperwork for relatives. Kids facing bullying at school for their accent. Marcus listened, really listened, for the first time in years. As he left, he felt lighter, but old prejudices lingered. That evening at a company party, a colleague made a crude joke about border jumpers. Normally, Marcus would have laughed. Instead, he said, "Knock it off, man. That's not cool." The room went quiet. His VP pulled him aside. You okay, boss? That's not like you. Marcus shrugged. Maybe it's time for a change. Over the weekend, he volunteered at a local shelter. First time ever. There, he met folks from all walks. Immigrants, vets, families down on luck. One guy, Javier, shared his story of crossing the border for a better life, only to face discrimination. Marcus nodded, seeing echoes of Elena's world. Monday rolled around, and Marcus found himself back at the diner for lunch. Coincidence? Maybe not. Elena was there with the boys, early dismissal from school. Hey, it's the pie guy. Diego grinned. Marcus chuckled. Guilty. Mind if I join? Elena slid over. Not at all. Lunch turned into stories. Marcus shared about his Midwest roots, admitting awkwardly, grew up with some narrow views, trying to shake them. Elena listened without judgment. Takes guts to admit that. My boys deal with it daily, kids calling them names. Mateo frowned. Yeah, like go back home, but home's here. Marcus winced. That's rough, kid. Sorry you gotta deal with that crap. As they talked, a rude customer at the next table muttered something about speaking English. When the boys slipped into Spanish, Marcus turned, voice firm. Hey buddy, they're kids. Chill out. The guy backed off, grumbling. Elena whispered, thanks. That spark of defense surprised Marcus. Was he changing? Weeks blurred into holiday prep. Marcus invited Elena and the boys to his company's Christmas party, not as charity but as friends. They showed up, the twins wide-eyed at the lights and buffet. But tension brewed. One exec, tipsy, cornered Elena. So, how'd you get in? Diversity hire? Marcus overheard, fury rising. She's my guest, Carl. Apologize or leave. Carl stammered an apology. Later, Elena said, you didn't have to. Yeah, I did. That's bullshit. The party ended with the boys teaching Marcus silly dances, laughter echoing. Christmas Eve arrived. Marcus, usually alone with takeout, decided to host a small dinner at his place. He invited Elena and the kids, plus a few shelter friends. As guests arrived, Marcus felt alive, but doubt crept in. Was this real or just pity? Elena pulled him aside. This means the world. You're bridging gaps you didn't even know existed. He nodded, emotional. Feels good. Dinner was chaos, stories shared, cultures mixed. Javier brought tamales, blending with turkey. Then the boys gave Marcus a handmade card. Thanks for being our friend.
No more alone!
Tears pricked his eyes. For the first time, he saw beyond color, beyond borders. Just people. But the night wasn't over. As everyone left, Elena stayed to help clean. Marcus, about your past, it's okay to grow. He confessed, I was blind, scared of different, but you showed me kindness anyway. She smiled. That's how we fight it. One heart at a time. They hugged, a spark igniting. Was this more than friendship? As the clock struck midnight on Christmas, Marcus stood on his balcony overlooking the glittering Seattle skyline. Snow lightly dusting the city. The house was quiet now, dishes done, guests gone. Elena had just left with the boys, promising to text when they got home safe. For the first time in years, Marcus didn't feel the familiar hollow ache of the holidays. But something else gnawed at him, guilt. Deep buried stuff he'd never faced head on. He poured himself a whiskey and pulled out his phone, scrolling through old photos. Pictures of his own kids when they were little, before the divorce, before he got too busy building an empire to show up for birthdays. Then further back, high school, college frat parties, group shots where he and his buddies posed with Confederate flag shirts. Laughing like it was no big deal, he winced. What the hell was wrong with me? Sleep didn't come easy that night. January rolled in cold and gray. Marcus threw himself into work, but things felt different. He noticed the microaggressions in meetings, the way his sales team joked about inner-city clients not paying on time, or how HR quietly steered minority candidates away from senior roles. He'd ignored it all before. Now it grated on him. One afternoon, Elena texted, "Boys want to know if Mr. Marcus is coming to their school multicultural fair next week. They're presenting on Mexican-American heroes." He stared at the message. A school event, full of kids and parents who probably assumed guys like him were the problem. His first instinct was to make an excuse. Big meeting, travel, whatever. But Mateo's voice echoed in his head. "Home's here." He typed back, "Wouldn't miss it." The day of the fair, Marcus showed up in jeans and a hoodie, nothing flashy. The gym was packed, tables with food from a dozen cultures. Kids in traditional outfits, posters everywhere. He spotted the twins immediately, waving wildly from their booth decorated with papel picado and photos of Cesar Chavez, Dolores Huerta, and Selena. "Mr. Marcus, you came!" Diego launched a hug attack, Mateo right behind. Elena appeared, looking proud in a simple embroidered blouse. "Thank you. This means a lot to them." As the boys explained their project, a group of parents nearby whispered. Marcus caught snippets. "That's Reilly from Reilly Tech." "What's he doing here?" One dad, built like a linebacker with a MAGA hat tucked in his back pocket, muttered loud enough, "Probably here for the photo op." Rich guys love looking woke these days. Marcus felt heat rise in his chest. Old Marcus would have ignored it or fired back with something snarky. New Marcus turned around. "Actually," he said calmly, "I'm here because these kids invited me. And they've got a killer presentation. You should check it out." The guy blinked, thrown off. Yeah, sure." Elena raised an eyebrow later. "Handled that smoothly." "Trying," Marcus admitted. "Still got a lot of crap to unlearn." That night, over tacos at Elena's modest apartment, the boys finally asleep, he opened up more than he ever had. "I grew up hearing stuff," he said quietly. "My dad, uncles, always talking about taking our country back, blaming immigrants for everything wrong. I didn't push back. I laughed along. Even after I left that town, it stuck. I built walls without realizing it." Elena listened, no judgment in her eyes. "A lot of people carry that baggage. The question is what you do with it now. I want to do better. But I don't want to be the white savior guy either." "That's its own kind of bullshit." She laughed softly. "You're thinking about it the right way. Just show up, be real. Let the boys see a man who can change." February brought challenges. At work, Marcus pushed for real. Diversity hiring, actual qualified. Candidates from underrepresented groups, not token checkboxes. Some board members resisted hard. One heated meeting, his oldest exec, Tom, who'd been with him since the start, laid into him. "We're turning into a social justice startup now. This used to be about merit, Marcus, not feelings." The room tensed. Marcus took a breath. "Tom, let's be real. Our merit system somehow kept ending up with a leadership team that's 90% white dudes from the same 5 colleges. That's not merit, that's comfort, and it's costing us talent." Tom stormed out. Others shifted uncomfortably. But a younger VP, Aisha, first-gen Indian American, nodded subtly. Afterward, Marcus got anonymous emails, accusations of going soft, betraying the company culture. One even called him a race traitor. He forwarded them to Elena without comment. She replied, "Proud of you. Change scares people who benefited from the old way." Spring arrived with cherry blossoms and Little League season. Marcus became a regular at the Twins games, cheering louder than anyone when Mateo hit his first home run. Parents started warming to him. Some apologized for judging too quick. But not everyone. One Saturday, after a game, a man approached Elena in the parking lot while Marcus was grabbing gear from his car. "Hey, you the mom?" the guy asked. Big, tattooed, voice aggressive. "Saw you with that rich guy. Just so you know, people like him don't actually care. He's using you for optics. Trust me, I know his type." Elena stood tall. "With respect, sir, you don't know him. Or me." Marcus walked up mid-conversation. The guy sneered. "Oh, look, the knight in shining armor." Marcus kept his voice steady. "We're just leaving. Have a good day. But the guy stepped closer. Funny how you liberals love diversity until it's your neighborhood. Your school's... Enough, Marcus cut in, firm but calm. Walk away. Security from the field noticed and approached. The guy backed off, muttering threats under his breath. In the car, hands shaking on the wheel, Marcus said, I'm sorry. That was because of me. Elena touched his arm. No, that was because of him. And you handled it right. Later that night, alone, Marcus hit a low point. All the pushback, at work, in public, it piled up. He texted Elena, starting to wonder if it's worth it. Maybe people like me can't really change. Maybe we just cause more mess trying. She called immediately. Listen to me, she said, voice fierce and gentle at once. You are changing. I see it. The boys see it. Aisha at your company sees it. You're not doing this perfectly. No one does. But you're doing it. And that matters more than you know. He exhaled, tears coming unbidden. I don't want to let you down, or them. You won't. Just keep going. Summer brought a turning point. Reilly Tech announced a major partnership with a Latino-led startup in California, plus a scholarship program for first-gen college students from immigrant families. Marcus insisted his name stay off the press release. But word spread. Old friends distanced themselves. His daughter from his first marriage finally called. Not warm, but curious. Dad, is this for real? Or just midlife crisis? It's real, he said simply. I woke up late, but I'm awake now. By fall, Marcus and Elena were officially dating quietly, carefully putting the kids first. The boys called him Marcus, still, but with affection that felt like family. Thanksgiving 2026 rolled around again. This time, Marcus wasn't alone in a diner booth. His penthouse was full. Elena, the twins, Javier and his family from the shelter, Aisha and her partner, even Tom, who'd quietly apologized months earlier and asked to learn. The table groaned with food, turkey and stuffing alongside pozole, tamales, collard greens from a black coworker who'd joined the new Inclusion Council. As they went around saying what they were thankful for, Mateo said, I'm thankful Marcus showed up that day at the diner, and that he stayed. Diego added, and that he's teaching us grown-ups can get better. Marcus couldn't speak for a moment. When he did, voice thick, he looked at Elena. I spent most of my life building walls. You and these boys, you showed me how to tear them down and how to build something real instead. Elena squeezed his hand. Later, washing dishes side by side, she said softly, You did the work, Marcus. We just held the door open. He smiled. Best thing I ever walked through.